Hello, everybody. This is my presentation on front-end responsive frameworks. What is a responsive framework? A responsive framework is a grid-based system that responds to the size of your device. For example, we know we have many different devices with many different screen sizes nowadays. We've got iPhones, we've got Samsung phones, we've got iPads, we've got just regular tablets. We've got all sorts of different laptops, desktops. They each have their own resolutions and screen sizes. And so a responsive framework is figuring out how a website responds to each individual device. The elements of a responsive design, there are 5 elements, which consists of consistency, compatibility, white space, intuitive navigation, and optimized images. Consistency, this means that you are ensuring that the website's overall design stays the same or similar across all platform sizes or screen sizes. You want to try to keep things similar because you don't want people to get confused if they use a phone one day and a laptop another day. You want to be able to allow them to find what they need to find as soon as they can. And by having consistency, that is one thing that allows it. Compatibility, you want to make sure that things like typography and image types are compatible across all devices, or at least similar. With typography, you can set backups, I know, for what kind of font you want. If you're using some fancy font that isn't responsive on one device, you can make it responsive to change to something else. White space, you want to keep it consistent no matter the size. And to do this, it helps if you use relative spacing rather than absolute. If you use absolute spacing or absolute margins and stuff like that, if you use like pixels or inches, it can be a little bit different once you shrink it because there aren't going to be as many pixels or inches available on that specific device. So you want to try to make it responsive and do minimal work. You want to use relative spacing like rem or em, and that can help keep your white space consistent. By intuitive navigation, people want to be able to find what they're looking for very easily. If you make the navigation simple and straightforward, people will be able to find what they need as quickly as they can. This includes things like responsive menus and so on and so forth. Optimized images are also super important. We'll see a couple examples of good and bad web designs here in just a second, but images can be a little bit tricky because if the images are not optimized and stay the same size, they will have a hard time fitting on small devices when they're trying to stay a certain amount of pixels or size. So by optimizing your images, you can set the width or height to be responsive so that they shrink or move to a different spot, or wrap or float, or all of these can be useful in optimizing your images. Here is a good example on responsive design. It's just the churchofjesuschrist.org. We see here we have just the normal computer view, and then this is just a very simple mobile view. If you see here, we have lots of consistency. The nav bar is basically the exact same. It shrinks a little bit. It's still got the pictures. It has the information. It may have cut this picture a little bit in order to fit it a little bit better. I'm actually going to go to the website and scroll along so that we can see how it looks. So there's the normal view. And within, let's say, the iPhone 12e, it still looks very good, very clean. All the pictures are the same size. White space is very similar. You can go all the way down. It has the quick links right here. Overall, it looks almost the exact same as the main website, including down here at the very, very bottom in the footer. We have the sitemap, feedback, employment help, the picture, all of that. Once again, if we turn it off, it all spreads across. It even takes away these social pages temporarily when it is in a responsive view. So that's a pretty good example. We'll go back to our presentation and we'll take a look at a bad example. So here's the computer example. You can see a lot of things wrong with this website. Lots of colors, not a lot of space for all of the words and such. So this is on the computer, and this is a view of the mobile. As you see, there's not any responsive stuff going on here. Words are getting cut off, pictures are getting cut off. We'll go to the website, and you see here there's a lot going on here. It's big and long. Now, if I go into a responsive view and go to that same iPhone 12, lots of weird stuff is going on. You can scroll to the right, left. Everything just looks the same as it did, except you just have to scroll everywhere you want to look at. It's not ideal. Nothing is responsive whatsoever according to the size. Lots of white space, empty white space down below. It's kind of just a big old mess. So this is a good example of what not to do. I can't even find my way back up to the top. So the differences in these two websites, they're very, very clear. This one is very wide. The other one is very straightforward, easy to find, and so on and so forth. So that is my presentation on responsive designs, what to look for, what to keep in mind as you are designing your responsive designs. You want to make sure that you are keeping mobile devices in mind and using touchscreens. So a lot of that is what we've gone over before. The most important is these elements of responsive designs. So keep these in mind as you go forward and create your websites. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate it.